Hey everyone, it's Minutia Minute, coming at you guys with a little bit different video today. So, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I have mostly switched over to collecting in trade. Main reason for that is simple. I collect a lot of different things. So, I mean, you can see on my shelf here, I've got a whole bunch of Star Wars books. I have a huge Star Wars book collection. I have a big movie collection. I have a small video game collection. I have a whole bunch of different video game systems. The truth is, I like a lot of different things. It raises the question, what do you do when you want to read through a complete run of something and it's not that easy to attain? So case in point, Superman. I really want to do a complete modern age review of all of the Superman books, basically from the modern age. So starting with John Byrne, Superman #1, going through issue 226, and then the renumbering 650 to, I believe, 714, all the way up until New 52. Like, I want to sit down and read through that entire run. But what I don't want to do is buy the singles. So what does that look like exactly? And that's where this video comes in. I thought it might be fun to go through how to collect comic books when you're not collecting in floppies, and kind of the thrill of the chase in that, because it is actually pretty fun to collect trade paperbacks. Those of you guys who are floppy diehards, I totally get it, but there is kind of a fun, almost archaeological element to trying to go back through and collect and trade. Because as you'll see in this video, DC, and I would assume Marvel, don't actually make it that easy to collect. You can't just buy Superman Volume 1 through 50, for example. You're going to get everything broken into a lot of different subcategories that all have their own titles, plus some of them only get one trade run, and they're either repackaged in a new way or they're never repackaged. Some books just have never been collected in trade, and so I thought it might be kind of fun to document my journey in trying to collect a as near to complete as possible run of the modern age of Superman up until New 52. This video is really just going to be laying the groundwork. So I've got some of the current runs, current books being published. Most of what I've bought has been relatively recent, so you'll get to see that stuff here. In future videos, as I continue to research and continue to compile different books, different trades, I'll be doing haul videos explaining the gaps, explaining what I've been able to find and how to find it. And then at the end, at some point in the future, hopefully this summer, I'll have kind of a complete trade paperback history that will help you guys find what you want if you decide you ever want to pick up Superman and trade. I think Superman is a particularly good place to start with this, because Superman is a book, especially in the modern era, where it was pretty much constantly crossing over with all of the Superman titles, to the point where there was not only an issue number in the left corner, but in the right corner there was often the issue number of that year that the Superman story was being told, because it was basically a weekly book that was told across Superman, Man of Steel, Adventures of Superman, and Action Comics. And as a result of that publishing strategy, picking this up in trade is actually really convenient, because it's going to give you hopefully all of the titles that you need in order to understand what's going on in the main Superman title. So to be clear, the goal of these videos is going to be to get a complete run of the Superman ongoing series from basically 1987 to 2011. It's not going to be to get all those other tie-in issues. I'm not going to track those. We're just going to be tracking Superman. But the advantage to it is, because we're reading it in trade, we're going to pick up a lot of those other important issues along the way without even really knowing it. So with that kind of explanation out of the way, let's dig in. So first up, we've got Superman Man of Steel Volume 1. Now, Man of Steel is basically the subtitle that DC gives to all of the John Byrne Superman books. Anytime you see a trade paperback that says Man of Steel, you can bet it's going to be by John Byrne, and it's going to be basically the first 2 years of that Superman ongoing series. There's probably about 10 volumes of this available in trade, but I've elected to go with these newer printings. They're in hardcover, just a little bit nicer, and everything should be collected in, I want to say, 4 volumes. Right now the first 2 are out, and 3 is on the way, and presumably a 4th at some time in the relatively near future. So, kicking things off, we've got Man of Steel Volume 1. This is a pretty big, substantial book, but it actually is only going to get us the first 4 issues of Superman that we need. Next up, you guessed it, we've got Superman Man of Steel Volume 2. This is actually a pretty recent release, and this is going to collect Superman 5 through 11, and as you can see, it's got a lot of other content in there as well. We've got Action Comics, Legion of Superheroes, and profiles from Who's Who Update 1987. After this point, as I said, we're going to have a little bit of a gap because there's a couple volumes of Man of Steel that haven't been released in hardcover yet. I could go out and get those in trade. I'm not going to. I'm going to wait for the hardcover and I'll update you guys when those do come out. Which means we're going to jump next to a pretty big fat omnibus, which is Superman, The Exile and Other Stories. This is all new Superman content for me. This is like Roger Stern era, basically right after John Byrne left the title. Have never read this, haven't cracked into it yet, and this is one I'm particularly excited to read because it's pretty foreign to me between the end of John Byrne's era, Panic in the Sky, and Death of Superman, that era. So this omnibus, in addition to having Adventures of Superman, Action Comics, and Action Comics Annual number 2, this is going to give us issues 23 through 37. After issue 37, we have a pretty big break in terms of modern Superman publishing. I know there are some trade paperbacks out there that are older, out of print. I'll be hunting those down. That'll be part of the ongoing nature of this trade paperback expedition I'm going on. The next most recent thing we've got is going to be Panic in the Sky. So Panic in the Sky was a big crossover event, basically dealing with Brainiac. It's been quite a while since I've read it, so I don't remember a lot of details. Another book that I'm kind of excited to review. This is going to give us issues 65 through 67. Next up, we have a book that obviously needs no introduction. It's been perpetually in print in some form or another ever since it was initially released in the early 90s, and that is, of course, Death of Superman. So this is just through his death issue, 75, so this gives us 73 through 75. Next, we have Funeral for a Friend. That's going to collect issues 76 and 77. Followed by Reign of the Supermen, which is a pretty big volume, but this one's actually only going to get us 2 more issues of Superman, 78 and 79, before we get to Return of Superman, which is another pretty big volume, but again, only going to get us issues 80 through 83. Now, there is one more volume of the Superman Death of Superman set, which is Superman Doomsday, which I have, but this does not actually contain any issues of Superman. One of the fun things about collecting these books in trade is they do look nice on the shelf, and of course the Death of Superman set, when you buy all of them, does make this cool Superman logo. Next up, we have a fairly recent DC publishing initiative, which is reprinting all of the Zero Hour stuff. So there is at the very least a Superman Zero Hour and a Batman Zero Hour. There's also been a pretty big Zero Hour omnibus, which I actually just got. However, it doesn't supplement the Superman Zero Hour trade paperback because this includes issues 93 and 0 of the Superman ongoing series, whereas the Zero Hour omnibus only includes issue 93. And that brings us to the one recent publication that DC has put out that I don't actually have, which is Superman Blue Volume 1. There are supposed to be 4 volumes of it, but they've only ever released the first volume. I will need to pick that up. For right now, I do actually have an older trade, which is Superman Transformed, which came out at the time that those books were new. This collects, I believe, issues 19 and 22 and 23. Even if I get that Superman Blue trade paperback, I'm still going to need this because that volume does not include issue 19. It just has issues 22 through 25. Another set of books that I've always been interested in reading, and again, a set of books that has been collected before, but is now being collected in pretty convenient, larger, almost omnibus-sized trades, is the Jeff Loeb run on Superman. I've always wanted to read it, I never have. I've just read a little bit of the President Luthor stuff, and so the fact that DC is putting out this Superman City of Tomorrow series is part of what inspired me to actually start trying to collect through these trades and figure out exactly how to get all of the issues that I need in order to read the whole set. And this is going to get us issues 151 through 154, which is, again, only 4 issues despite this being a big tome of a book, but that's because you're also getting 4 issues of adventures, you're getting 4 issues of action, and 4 issues of Man of Steel, presumably. And this is also a perfect example where I wish DC would just have Superman, the ongoing trade paperback collection, and that's just broken up volume by volume from issue 1 all the way through 714, because you wouldn't know it, but Superman the Man of Steel is the same series as Superman the City of Tomorrow. It's just a different block of issues. So anyway, I do have volume 1, and I just picked up volume 2. I would assume volume 3 is on the way, but I don't know when that's coming out, but I certainly will pick that up when it does. Volume 2 collects issues 155 through 159. So once you get out of that, the convenient large trade size volumes of DC books really starts to disappear. So for right now, there's actually only one more book I have to show you, and it's basically the book that bridges the gap between the Jeff Loeb run and the Brian Azzarello Jim Lee run, and that is Superman Godfall. Superman Godfall brings us 202 and 203, and these are actually some of the first issues of Superman that I picked up in singles back in the day, around the time I was really obsessed with Batman Hush coming out. I remember there was a Jim Lee sketchbook in the back of it, and you had those really, really cool Michael Turner covers. It just hooked me and got me pretty excited to dig in. And so with Superman Godfall, that represents the last of the Superman trades that I have right now. I'll probably put these videos out monthly and update you guys with my progress as we go. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this video, found it kind of interesting. I think trades are actually fun to collect. Have a good one.